Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, we'll tell you why a proposed schedule change at Rockbridge County High School has sparked backlash.
We, as parents, heard about it from our students who came out of school very upset.
And then, Buena Vista city officials say that repairs to Perry McClure Middle School would cost more than a new building. We'll tell you about what steps city leaders are taking.
Coming up, these Buena Vista interns aren't getting coffee. They're going on ride-alongs while earning college credit.
We hung at curb at 80.
And later in the broadcast, we'll tell you why the same historic architecture that brings tourists to Lexington also poses potential safety risks. All that and more coming up right now on the Rockbridge Report.
Lee University with news from Rockbridge County. This is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Kate Keeley.
And I'm Josh Dara. The New York Times reports that Virginia Democrats are looking into redrawing the Commonwealth's congressional districts. If successful, the Democrats may gain an advantage for next year's midterms. The move comes as part of a larger battle in state legislatures across the country. Virginia is the second Democratic-leading state after California to consider redrawing their maps.
Today, Senate Democrats blocked a GOP-led measure to pay essential federal workers who continue working through the government shutdown. The vote blocking the bill from advancing was 54 to 45. Democratic Senators John Fetterman, John Ossoff, and Raphael Warnock all crossed party lines to support the bill. In a procedural move, Senate Majority Leader John Thune changed his vote to oppose the bill so it can be brought up again. The measure did not account for furloughed workers. Many Democrats have said they want legislation that pays all federal workers through the shutdown, including those on furlough. Republican leadership has thrown cold water on that idea.
The University of Virginia has struck a deal with the Trump administration over its hiring and admission practices. The university has signed on to Justice Department guidelines on federal funding and discrimination, agreeing to, quote, not engage in unlawful racial discrimination in its university programming, admissions, hiring, or other activities. The university was under federal scrutiny for months. Earlier this year, Trump accused UVA President James Ryan of failing to end diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Trump has called DEI unlawful discrimination. In June, President Ryan resigned.
Rockbridge County High School administrators are facing community backlash over a proposed 4x4 block schedule. Parents received a letter on October 8th that told them for the first time about the change. Caroline Schimpf reports.
Officials are taking additional time to solicit feedback before moving forward with a proposal to change students' class schedules. The proposed change has upset teachers, students, and parents.
The transparency was non-existent. We, as parents, heard about it from our students who came out of school very upset.
Right now, students take the same 7 classes, 50 minutes each, for the entire academic year. The proposed schedule would create 2 semesters. Each would last 3 to 3.5 months. Students would take 4 80 to 90-minute classes each semester. The next semester, they would take 4 other classes. About 40 people showed up at last week's school board meeting at Maury River Middle School to complain.
I feel like one of the biggest problems with this right now is just the lack of communication, the fact that they're forcing this on us.
Assistant Principal Sean Sparks says the goal is to ease stress among students and teachers, and he says it could help students balance their course loads and extracurricular activities. Earlier this week, Sparks met with parents and students in the high school's auditorium. He told them nothing will be taken away and that the plan is still being developed. But parents and students want to know why.
If this proposal is truly about improving learning, show us the evidence.
What's even more frustrating for parents, students, and teachers is the lack of details about how a new schedule would be implemented.
My major concern for the block schedule is that some of our favorite classes and some of the classes that are the only reason the students are still in the school are going to be cut.
Some parents worry about the impact on college prep courses and electives. Teachers are upset because they were asked last year about a possible 4x4 block schedule change, but nothing came of it until teachers were called into an impromptu meeting about 2 weeks ago.
If we don't have buy-in from the educators, that will trickle down straight to the students.
Sparks says there's no timeline for the final decision. The school board will vote on the schedule, but it's unclear when. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Caroline Schimpf.
Buena Vista school officials plan to launch a study to determine the feasibility of adding a middle school addition to Perry McClure High School. Reporter Sydney DeVore has the story.
Perry McClure Middle School needs so many repairs and upgrades that it doesn't make sense to renovate it. Estimates showed that it would cost more, $10 to $20 million more, to fix it up than it would to build a new school. In August, Architects studied the vacant Mountain Gateway Community College building, but they found that the building would need changes to meet the Virginia Department of Education standards.
It's missing some really important things. It would take adding additional classrooms, adding a gym, adding a library.
Buena Vista officials were considering Mountain Gateway's building because the city already owns it. But the study showed the renovations would cost more than the $45 million debt limit set by the state.
It became this domino effect of if you do this, you got to do this, you got to do this.
There are only 127 students occupying the 90,000 square foot middle school that was built in 1923. Many of the classrooms are empty or used as storage because of water damage.
There's a lot of roof damage at certain points, and they've been patched and repaired and patched and repaired.
Putting the middle school next to the high school has its challenges.
This would be a separate addition, so even though it would be attached, middle schoolers would have their own separate space.
Alt says sports programs and course offerings could be expanded if both schools are close to each other. She says students' ability to learn could be impacted if something isn't done soon.
It is getting, more challenging every day.
Tyree says the city wants to use $10,000 from the school's carryover budget to conduct the study between January and March. He says city officials will know if they can by the end of the year. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Sydney DeVore.
Downtown Lexington's 200-year-old architecture may attract history buffs, but Lexington Fire Chief Ty Dickerson says the old buildings also pose a fire risk. The city is offering an incentive for downtown building owners to make the city safer. Aiden Kelsey is live downtown with the details.
The wooden frameworks of buildings would allow fire to spread easily. There's also another common problem: gas leaks. Both concerns create challenges for the small Lexington Fire Department. The city has already announced a no-interest loan program for owners to install fire sprinkler systems in their buildings. Bank of the James is the first to take advantage. As recently as October 13th, another business on Nelson Street, Global Cafe, experienced a natural gas odor. They called in a technician the following day to fix the leak. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Aiden. For more information, check out Aiden's story on our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Property reassessments in Lexington will start November 3rd. Teams from Vision Government Solutions will conduct exterior examinations of properties. They'll take photos and measurements as part of the determination of each property's fair market value. The assessments are expected to be completed in spring 2026 and take effect on July 1st. Property owners will get a chance to appeal before reassessments become final. Residents with questions may contact the Lexington Commissioner of the Revenue's Office for more information. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, learn how some college students are making the Buena Vista Police Department their classroom.
And we zoomed through BV. I was like, I have to do this.
Republican Lieutenant Governor candidate John Reed spoke at Washington and Lee's campus this week. We'll give you the highlights. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. 3 candidates are on the ballot this year for Sheriff of Buena Vista: Alan Buzzard, Chris Wheeler, and incumbent Sheriff Randy Hamilton. Hamilton has held the position since 1996. Learn more about each candidate's experience in law enforcement and their goals as sheriff by reading Isabella Custard's story on the Rockbridge Report's website.
Republican Lieutenant Governor candidate John Reed told Washington and Lee University students that he supports a workforce freedom agenda and would oppose any attempt to require Virginia workers to join a labor union and pay dues to keep their jobs.
I've talked to the little guys, some people who just came off the boat with the American dream in their head. They were opening a bodega or a dry cleaner. This is important, that they are not suckered into, forced into dealing with labor.
To learn more, read Juliet Zahanage's story on our website.
Lexington has made changes to its water and sewer utility ordinances designed to protect people who may have trouble paying their bills. The changes require city officials to take steps to reach residents at least 45 days before utility disconnections. The city also cannot cut off service when the temperature outside drops below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or rises above 92 degrees Fahrenheit. City officials say they made the changes to comply with state law. For more information, read Skylar Hollins' story on the website.
2 Southern Virginia University students are trading college lectures for police ride-alongs. They're learning what police work looks like through a new internship program with the Buena Vista Police Department. Cami Knott reports.
Most college students study criminal justice in a classroom. But for Southern Virginia University students Boston Shillman and Mickey Prose, the Buena Vista Police Department is their classroom. They're earning college credits as unpaid interns while working alongside officers.
We hung a curb at 80.
Officer Chase Camden hit the gas to chase a driver clocked at 62 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Shillman tagged along with Camden on a ride-along earlier this month.
I think that this is a greater opportunity than any other big town or like big city department.
Camden made 3 traffic stops that afternoon on patrol. Along the way, he explained radio codes, safety checks, and how officers handle each call from start to finish. The program began earlier this year after Police Chief Wayne Hanley and SVU Professor Jeff Batis partnered to launch the internship. Hanley says the program shows students what real police work looks like.
If all you know about law enforcement is what you see on TV or in the movies, you're not making a full decision.
Students spend 1 semester completing about 100 hours of patrol and community work. They learn how to manage paperwork, social media, and community outreach. Prowse says she wants to be a cop.
I was on my first ride along and they got a lights and sirens call. And the second he flipped on those lights and we zoomed through BV, I was like, I have to do this.
Chief Hanley says the department plans to expand the internship program to other parts of city government. He says he wants to give students hands-on experience with public service beyond what they read in textbooks. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Cami Knott.
Pickleball is booming in Rockbridge County. To meet the demand, RARO is adding another opportunity for people to play. Starting October 27th, a 4th weekly session will begin at 6 p.m. at Maury River Middle School in Lexington. Weekly open court sessions are already held at Maury River Middle School and at the Rivermont School in Fairfield. Registration fees start at $10 a month. A beginner's workshop is set for November 1st. Read Kate Wacholtz's story on our website to learn how much fun people are having by playing pickleball.
Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, we'll tell you about a dangerous storm that's developed over the Caribbean.
And later, we'll show you how
it feels like fall here in Lexington, with wind speeds picking up and temperatures cooling down. I'm Mary Jordan Janeski, and you can learn more about the weather this week coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
And later, we'll show you how the husband and wife team at Hardin's give their cocktails their own twist with an up-close demonstration. All this and more later on the Rockbridge Report. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Tropical Storm Melissa is forecast to become a major hurricane, Category 3 or greater. Melissa is currently crawling through the Caribbean at just 2 miles per hour. Melissa is expected to hit hurricane status by Saturday morning. A hurricane watch has been issued for parts of Haiti. When Melissa becomes a hurricane, it would be the 2025 Atlantic season's 5th hurricane. They're not quite hurricane force, but Kate, we've been seeing our own fair share of wind here in Lexington.
We certainly have. Mary Jordan, can you tell us if that wind will die down going into this weekend?
Yeah, we're definitely starting to feel a lot of those fall chills coming up this week. Let's go take a look at my forecast. Taking a look at our downtown Lexington live broadcast, you may not be able to feel the wind, but you can certainly feel it when you walk through downtown. Taking a look at our current conditions in Lexington, we have a high of 62 today and a low of 30. Our barometric pressure reads at 30.00 inches with those wind speeds picking up at 17 miles per hour. Humidity sits at 24% currently. Taking a look at our radar, it's pretty clear in the Lexington area, but down in the southwest corner, we're seeing a little bit more cloud coverage moving toward the northeast later today. As for our regional conditions, Roanoke is sunny and 65, while Covington is a little cooler at 60 and sunny as well. Lexington and Buena Vista are at 62 and 70, or 63 and sunny, and Stanton reads 60 and sunny, Charlottesville 66 and sunny, and Lynchburg a little cooler at 65 and sunny. Back to you, and we're looking at the 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, on Friday, we're going to have a high of 60 and a low of 31. But going into the weekend, things are going to get a little cloudier. Saturday, a high of 59 and a low of 34 with partly cloudy skies. Sunday, again, partly cloudy with a high of 61 and a low of 41. And Monday and Tuesday, both very cloudy, with a high of 51 and a low of 39, and Tuesday, a high of 52 and a low of 40. Back to you, Kate and Josh.
Thank you, Mary Jordan. Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, federal authorities are charging an NBA guard with head coach in connection with illegal betting.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out.
And then we'll tell you what went into the drink menu created in-house at Hardin's. All this and more on the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Josh, Parents Weekend is upon us, and I don't know about you, but I'm already planning on taking my parents to the football game on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. There are a bunch of home games slated for this weekend. Katie, can you tell us what's happening in the world of sports?
It has been a crazy day in the world of NBA. Let me fill you in. Current and former NBA players, as well as a head coach and Hall of Famer, arrested in connection with 2 federal gambling investigations. Today, more than 30 people were taken into custody by law enforcement in nearly a dozen different states. The FBI says the criminal enterprise involved tens of millions of dollars and was connected to several New York mafia families. Michael Yoshida reports.
This is the insider trading saga for the NBA.
Dozens, including several current and former NBA players and a coach, arrested in connection with years-long illegal gambling operations. Charges include money laundering, wire fraud, even armed robbery.
One of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States.
Prosecutors say 6 people, including Miami Heat player Terry Rozier, helped rig games with sports bettors. In one instance, they allege Rozier faked an injury.
Members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit.
Through his lawyers, Rozier denied any wrongdoing. In the second alleged scheme, prosecutors say 31 people, including members of 3 New York Mafia families, as well as Chauncey Billups, an NBA Hall of Famer and champion, and current Portland Trailblazers head coach, were involved in illegal fixed poker games held across the country.
Exploiting the notoriety of some and the wallets of many to fund the Italian crime families.
Prosecutors say victims, called Fish, were lured to play alongside high-profile athletes called face cards, and everyone but the victims was in on the scam, using rigged shuffling machines, poker chip analyzers, x-ray tables, and even special contact lenses and eyeglasses to read marked cards.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
In other news, this weekend will be Washington and Lee University's Parents Weekend, and there's no shortage of contests to watch in Lexington. This Saturday, students can take their parents to football, volleyball, field hockey, and men's and women's soccer games. The first contest is at 11 a.m. when volleyball hosts Shenandoah. Then field hockey hosts Lynchburg at noon. Women's soccer takes on Averett University at 1. Men's soccer hosts Lynchburg, and the football Generals take on Bridgewater Eagles. Both of those games are at 4. Now for some games this past week. WNL men's soccer team put away Averett University 7-0 away on Wednesday. The Generals volleyball team swept Hollins University in 3 sets at home on Tuesday. Transitioning to VMI, Virginia Military Institute's football came up 2 points short to Samford University on their Parents' Weekend. The Keydets lost 24-22 after missing a field goal attempt at the 20-yard line. The Keydets men's soccer team lost 3-0 at Villanova on Tuesday. Southern Virginia University's football team defeated the Monarchs of Methodist University 30-13 at the Knights' homecoming game on Saturday. The Knights women's volleyball team won against Salem in 3 sets on Wednesday. Rockbridge County High School lost in a 41-6 blowout away at Riverheads High School on Friday. Perry McClure football fell 33-6 against Craig County at home on Friday. But the varsity volleyball team swept Craig County 3-0 the day before. Lots of updates on sports. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Katie. Some Americans are expressing concerns as President Donald Trump demolishes the entire East Wing of the White House. Correspondent Julia Benbrook reports from the White House grounds.
The White House says that it will submit plans for the ballroom to the National Capital Planning Commission, a group that oversees federal construction projects. But it insists the body does not have purview over the decision to knock down the East Wing. Though some former members of the commission have questioned that assessment, that part of the project is already underway. In order to make room for the new privately funded ballroom, demolition of the East Wing started this week, and Trump recently confirmed the projected price had gone up from $200 million to $300 million. It seems other parts of the plan have evolved as well. Here's what Trump said when he first announced the project.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of.
But here's what he said this week about the impact on the current structure.
We determined that after really a tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world, we determined that really knocking it down, trying to use a little section. You know, the East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. It was a very small building, and rather than allowing that to hurt a very expensive, beautiful building that, frankly, they've been after for years.
And the plans could still be changing. According to multiple sources, the president has been showing some of his visitors 2 flat tabletop models of the project and asking them which they prefer. Most have answered the larger structure was better, to which Trump agreed. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Hardin's opened in downtown Lexington in early 2024. Since then, the husband and wife owners have provided patrons with an assortment of original cocktails. Isabella Custard and Kate Wackles show us how they are shaking up their bar business.
Jessica Hardin and her husband Bill like to get creative with the drinks they make at their gastropub Hardin's.
Our style is what we think the customer would like the most, because we want to bring craft cocktails to Lexington, but also make them fun and approachable and not overwhelming.
The couple has been in Lexington since 2014. Bill ran the beverage program for the Georges, which includes Taps, Haywoods, and special events. Jessica was a server and bartender at Taps. The couple also opened Legendary Eats in 2020.
We've been here since 2014, and we spent 10 years kind of building our name at the Georges, and we branched out on our own.
Hardin's rotates its cocktail menu seasonally. The Clover Club is one of the couple's favorites. It is available to order even though it's not officially on the menu right now.
So I'm going to be making the Clover Club today. It's a vintage cocktail that was invented in a gentleman's club in Philadelphia pre-Prohibition.
The cocktail calls for 3/4 of an ounce of raspberry syrup and lemon juice, and 1.5 ounces of gin. Hardin says she uses Sipsmith. You also need egg whites that require 2 different shakes.
We do a reverse dry shake, so we do our wet shake with the ice first. And then there's going to be a second shake, which is our dry shake. A dry shake means there's no ice in the shaker. Really shake it. This helps to whip up the egg whites and give you that really nice foam on top. And then finally we finish it off in a coupe glass.
This summer, Hardin's changed about 13 cocktails on the menu. The Gogling Cocoa and As You Wish are the most popular. For the Rockbridge Report, reporting with Isabel Custard, this is Kate Wackles.
That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
For more local and national news, check out our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Have a good evening.